Spiritual Maturity, Part 6. How Will I Die? What is spiritual maturity? How does the Bible define it? In this series, we are drawing primarily from Hebrews 6, 1 through 2, Philippians 3, 4 through 11, and Romans 12. In parts 1 through 5, we covered repentance from dead works, faith in God, knowing God, sanctification and mind renewal, walking out our unique gifts and calling, and the fellowship of Christ's sufferings. In this video, we'll cover step 7, being conformed to Christ's death. Paul concluded the Philippians 3 passage with being conformed to Christ's death. This refers to a lack of desire left to live for worldly or temporal things because only things of eternal value matter. This is likely how Paul felt when he said in Galatians 6:14, "The world has been crucified to me, and I to the world." Perhaps this also coincides with the final step of Romans 12, which commands us to return love and a blessing to those who do us harm. Sincerely returning love in response to being intentionally, maliciously inflicted with pain or loss is no less miraculous than the blind seeing or the lame walking. It completely defies temporal explanation. Unconverted Jews tried to kill Paul several times, yet he was not only willing to die for their sakes, but even to trade his salvation for theirs, if that were possible. He said in Romans 9:3, "For I could wish that I myself were accursed, separated from Christ for the sake of my brethren, my kinsmen according to the flesh." Moses felt the same way toward people who repeatedly accused him and rebelled against his leadership. In Exodus 32:32, he said to God, "But now, if you will, forgive their sin, and if not, please blot me out from your book which you have written." After covering the 7th and last step on the road to spiritual maturity, maybe you'll reach the same conclusion I did, which is that spiritual maturity is rare. In fact, I don't think I've met anyone who is mature in all the areas we have covered, although I've met some who are mature in some of them. But maybe this rarity is unsurprising. After all, people zealously pursue all kinds of lesser things, such as wealth, fame, career accomplishments, advantageous relationships, physical fitness, etc. But relatively few people greatly excel at any of them, much less all of them. How much more, then, could we expect the far greater pursuit of spiritual maturity and its many facets to be lacking plentiful examples in such a dark and fallen world? However, I want to close with this crucial point. I believe it is more important that we are growing than where we are in the journey. We don't need to have arrived at a particular milestone to be an effective model. In fact, when others see changes taking place in us, it can actually be more impactful than if we didn't need those changes to begin with, because it demonstrates the transforming power of God and His Word. This is why Paul told Timothy to obey his instructions so that your progress will be evident to all. Timothy was younger and less experienced than many of those he was leading, but he could still serve as an example because of the direction he was headed in, not because of how far he had gotten. If you'd like to learn more, you can check out my free book available at the link provided. Thanks for watching.